Building Homes of Hope and Wholeness, how to effectively have a family ministries at your local church. First of all, I want to start with a scriptural principle. But everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Things work together when they're done in a fitting and orderly way. Women, when you cook, you find that if you do the recipe just the way it is, it usually turns out. Men, if you're working on a project, if you follow the instructions, it will be much better. God knew this, and in our Bible, it tells us, but everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way. 1 Corinthians 14:40. It would be better when you start your family ministry to start working on getting your committee and getting your, so to speak, job description ready, that you had the Quick Start Guide, the newest Quick Start Guide from Advent Source of how to start a family ministries. This is just a quick start. This is a little overview, and this is probably the most basic. Of course, there's always a thicker manual, the handbook, that you can refer to. And I believe this is online too, but it's the Adventist Family Ministry book. And this comes with the DVD and slides and things for you to be able to look at and to train your people to be on your team, your volunteers, the ones that are going to make it happen for your church. 2 good resources put out by the North American Division of Family Ministries. As everything, we have to have organization, and we have to have a committee. So who is supposed to be on this committee? It's hard to do it by yourself. So let's think of some key people that we would like to have on our committee. How about you, the family ministries leader? Or maybe you're not the family ministries leader, but you definitely want the family ministries leader on this committee. What about the Sabbath school superintendent that ministers to the children in the family weekly at church, has their best interest in things that they learn and they do, and knows about what's going on possibly beyond Sabbath school? What about the home and school leader? If you have a school, you probably already have one of those. But you know, it's not bad to have this office in your church, because this brings the home and the school together, to work together and to show that the church is a team and working for the betterment of the family. Personal ministries leader. Now, the personal ministries leader is your evangelism leader amongst your church members. Personal ministries encourages you in your studies and provides the things that you would need to take to the community. These are excellent people to put on your committee. The community service leader. A lot of churches have a community service where they serve the community. They have tabs, they have their finger in the needs of the community. Excellent for a family ministry, because after all, we're not just after the families in our church, we're after the families. We want to nurture and love our families that are in our communities. Men's ministry leader. Men's ministry leader has their tab on single dads. What's happening, helping nurturing that family man, that spouse, the husband that would be needed as a leader in the church and in the family. Singles ministry leader. There's a lot of single families out there that need our help, need to be loved, need to be nurtured and brought closer to us in the church. They may need help with their children. They may need help with their family in just being there for them and helping with the care in getting things done. Women's ministries leader. This is the nurturer of the church. This encompasses all the women of the church just like men's ministries encompasses all the men. Together, they would be excellent people to put on your committee to help serve your community and your church. Now, this is kind of fun. I thought at least one married couple, because that you give that aspect of the married couple, the unity, and how it takes them as a team to work to make their marriage work. And at least one divorced person, one single parent, one single person that has been through a lot and can give you input on what is needed in our community. Our committee and our organization, the very basis of this ministry. You may not have every one of these offices in your church, but if you do, I would invite you to have these core people, your 10 people, to fill your committee. Now, maybe you have been given an associate or an assistant to your family ministries, and you would like them to be on. These are just suggestions. Build the team that's going to work for you. Multi-generational representation. This is so important. You need people, you need to be able to minister to all ages. You need to be able to bring them all together to be able to meet the needs of the family, of the single person, of the community. Make it an awesome team. So what your job is and what is next. As a leader, we don't want to neglect you so that you would not know what your job is. Some of this is that it is acquired and you find out what your job is. But there's a little word "know" in there that you might want to learn if they keep giving you things that they want to add to your job description. Never neglect to refer someone to a professional. This is important because in our job, we need to have a list of counselors, a list of professionals that we can send people to, organizations that can help, abuse hotlines, spousal abuse. We cannot take care of everything, but our job is to know where to send these people. Do not take it on something that you have no idea of what to do. Make a list that you can refer them to someone else. Develop a list of qualified Christian counselors. This is important. This may take some time. It's not going to all happen. But by being out there and in your church and being in the community, you will find the good ones and you will want them on your list. Develop a list of other social service agencies. Now, your community service person can maybe help you with this. There's a lot of places out there that you can tap into, that you can refer them to. We're here at our first activity. So I want you to get your papers, get your thinking caps on, and let's talk about this. What is your job and what is not? Think about all the resource lists that may be helpful to compile and have on hand. Now, this would be good if you had a committee or a set of volunteers to help you, because more minds can give you more ideas and you can become more complete. Remember, it's better to have them now than to wait until a crisis develops. That's very sure, because crisis may not be today, but it's on its way. Then think of places that may be helpful to assist you as you put the information together. Now, let's look at some options. Now, I want you to take your papers and pencils, and if you have to stop here and do that now and write down some things. Do not rush through this. Make sure that you have the completed list so that you can be the best leader possible. What your job is and what it's not. Resource list. These things, 1 through 5, can be on your resource list. As I said, it's not going to be a complete list. So you have Christian counselors. There's a website that you can go to, enter your zip code, and it will generate a list that you can start to copy and print out if desired. Tap into ChristianCounselorsDirector.com. Bring the list, go over the list, call them, get acquainted, ask them whether they take new referrals or whatever. Get them, only put the good ones on your list. Suicide prevention. This needs to be for children and for adults. Again, a hotline, a talk line, 1-800. Have these ready at your phone or in your phone on a list that you can hand out to people if you don't want them calling you all the time. You need to have a very decisive list that you can refer to. Domestic violence. Here's a phone number. Here's a hotline. If you've been in some of the restrooms, you will see that there are little cards there in a lot of the women's restrooms that have the website on them. There's a program that's put out by our church, End It Now. They have little cards that you can put into bathrooms. That may be one of your things that you want to do. But keep a card for yourself so you know what to do. Substance abuse and other addictions. AmericanAddictionCenters.org. Excellent resource, because I have looked up on there. They have a lot of stuff there. Then general help for social services. When there's hurricanes, when there's crisis in the homes, when there's, you don't have food or whatever, there's government programs, social services. These are by state, so you'll want to tap into your state. Now, how are you doing on your list? Your list is growing. Don't get discouraged. You will make it because you will have the list. You've been put in this position because you've been asked by the church, and God is going to bless you as you do this. This is not your thing? Well, get a volunteer to help you with this. Don't be a loner out there. Don't do it by yourself. Do what you need to do. Define the needs in your congregation and community. What kinds of families comprise your church? This will be a deciding factor to guide the types of programs and events you will offer in your church. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to tell you that I want you to, if there was anything that you want to see, go back and take a picture with your phone to have it with you. You may not have access to this website where this program is and your outline. So why don't you stop and take a picture with your phone, because there's a lot of information here that will help you as a leader in your church. What kinds of families comprise your church? This will be a deciding factor to guide the types of programs and events you offer in your church. For example, if your church is composed of many young families, a focus on parenting or marriage may be needed. If your church has a lot of older members, then you may concentrate on the type of help and services that they need and find useful. Maybe it's grandparenting classes. Maybe it's classes on preparing for retirement. In other words, begin where the greatest need is. Look at your church, do a survey. I think there's a survey that's available in that quick start guide that you can use, or make up your own. And on the web, I know there are some, and you can add and subtract as much as you need. Do it very basic. Don't make it overwhelming to your people, but do a survey. Now that you have your list, you have your committee, you have met at least once, you've prayed. Now it starts with the planning. The planning process is where you identify some of the target audiences. So here we are, target audience, nature of the program. So maybe you have a burden for a certain type of program that you want to do in your ministry. Or maybe the 10 people on your committee, maybe the 5 people on your committee, maybe you have targeted something that you want to do. Pick a time frame for this program. Don't make it next week. Give yourself time to work into it. Pick a time frame. And this way, you all will be ready at the time when the program event is. Specific skills, experiences, and information to be communicated. Tap out, see where there's more people in your congregation that can help you. If nothing else, I'm sure they have experiences and they can tell you what worked and what didn't. Get the information out there. Communicate with your members and your committee. Discover your ability and how easy it is to find leaders and helpers. Again, don't be the only one that's doing this. Find leaders and helpers that will work with you. There are a lot of other officers in church, your head elder, your head deacon, deacons and elders have people under them. These are all great helpers. They may know something. Tap into your resource at your church. Your pastor may be able to help you. Locate or generate material resources. Maybe make a library. You can get prepackaged programs. There's a lot of stuff out there. You can get handouts, or you could put something in the bulletin weekly, or you could put it on your website and you can have it there, because there's all kinds of people out there that use different kinds of social media, use different types of communication. Be ready to have these materials in all different areas. Then figure the time, the place, the fees, and the other details. Maybe this is where I need to stop and tell you that you probably need a budget. You as the director will find a time to sit with your church board and talk about your budget and make sure that you have things there. We'll take one step at a time. Marketing. Marketing is another word for advertising, getting the word out. Let's explore some areas that will help you in this endeavor. Person to person. There's nothing better than talking it up, being excited about it, telling another person, them telling another person. This is a great way to get the word out. Direct mail. Maybe there are a whole group of people in your church that like to get mail from the post office. How about signs, posters, flyers, brochures, social media? I'm sure news releases, print, broadcast media. Get all the free publicity that you can possibly get. There is someone in your church that knows someone that can put it up. Or maybe you have someplace at work. Maybe they have a bulletin board where you can advertise and you can do it. Get the word out. Do everything that you need to do. Invite other churches. Then you might have to advertise, paid advertising. You might have to pay for an advertisement, maybe on a radio station. There are a lot of Christian radio stations that have free boards that they put all your information on and that they will help you advertise, and where other people can just click on that site and see what you have available and what's happening in your church. Maybe you want to invite the other churches in town. Maybe there's not one in town. Maybe there's one that's in the next town over. Your church website will be a great place. I have found in the last year that I spend a lot of time surfing churches' websites to see what they have going in family ministries and children's ministries, to see how active they are. Things have kind of slowed down, but I want to know what's happening out there. I'm excited about getting this ministry started in a crisis time. We are in a time of crisis at the moment, and whether it gets better or not, or whether we're in the time of the end, we need to use our church websites to get our word out. Social media. Well, someone said that Facebook was the older person's social media. But I find a lot of young people on there too. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's a lot of different ones that you can get the word out. Use what is best for your church. That's where you need to survey, that's where you need to talk it up, that's where you need to be in touch with the members of your church. Find out where they get their information. Marketing. Provide the type of information people need to know. What are you offering? What does the event you're doing include? Who is invited? Is everyone invited, or are you saying only people that have children? Or maybe it's just for the men, or maybe it's just for the women. When will this event be held? Give all the details that you can possibly give, all on your flyer. Make sure there's no question of what is happening. If there is, make sure that you have a phone number on there, or a website, or a email that they can contact. Where will this event be held? So now we want to know who's invited, we want to know when the event is, and we want to know where it's going to be held. Why will people benefit from taking part in this event? Give them what your vision is. Tell them what you want them to take away. And then they'll come and take away what God wants them to take away, or what they find that's best for their family. Is that a lot of information? Yes, it is. So now we're going to talk about implementation, evaluation, and follow-up. This is another activity. So, it's okay to pretend you have a family ministry event in your church. I want you to pretend that the group at your table, or the group that's with you today, comprises of the Family Ministries Committee in your church. Now, I want you to work together as a group to think through these steps. So I want you to stop and take a few minutes and start getting your group together. Give them positions if you want them to do. Make them speak for that organization or that particular group. Now let's look at a sample using a parenting seminar as an event we are planning. This is a good time to take a picture if you want with your phone, because this stuff is very entailed, and I don't know whether you'll get it all today. But you want to make sure your event, you're doing a parenting seminar. And so it's going to tell you person to person, who it is that's responsible for it. The Family Ministry Board will be working together on this plan, but the director is the main contact. Now, what's your target audience? The program will target parents of children ages birth to 7. However, any interested person will be allowed to attend. Always put in that any interested person may attend. Because if you start limiting who can come, you're asking for a lot of problems. Now, that's again, it's a church decision of what you want to do. But I find that the less I put restrictions on myself, the better off I'm able to do my ministry. So, it says time of event, start, end time. It's going to be Saturday, April 15th from 2 to 4 p.m. The director will make sure the date and the time is approved by the pastor and the local church board beforehand. It would be nice if you had this and you took it to your board meeting first, and then you started putting out the information, because it's always important that your board is along with you on this. And besides, if you need some money, they know how much it's going to be. So approval is always better when you have done your homework and you have taken it to the right places and gotten approval. Registration required and the cost to the attendee. What is the cost and how do you manage registration? There's a lot of online registrations and they're free, that you just have to have someone that knows how to build it. And you can have, you can use this, or you can come up with a sign-in type thing, or you can do whatever works for your church, what you've been in the habit of doing, and don't make it too complicated. So, it's no cost. A sign-in sheet will be placed in the church foyer. You can get them to register ahead of time. The church office telephone will also be in the church bulletin for those who wish to phone in their intent to attend. Joe Dubs will create a registration sheet to be left in the foyer. Now, that's the person responsible now that you know who it is that's going to do it. Assign someone to do it. The church administrative assistant, Franklin Dorsey, will be notified that calls may come into the church office and given a copy of the registration sheet to record all who call in. This is great for your church administrative assistant. Have everything to the people that need to be in charge. Joe Dubs will maintain an ongoing list and keeping track of the number who register. So what are you going to do with that person that didn't register? That's one thing you need to determine on your own too, is with your committee, is to decide, are you going to let walk-ins come in? Since it's no cost, that might be the thing that you want to do. But if you have a certain amount of material that you have going out, you might either want to copy it or you may want to put a cap on your amount of people that you're going to have. Let's look at what kind of materials are needed for the activity. The presenter will be asked to prepare a handout that will be copied and prepared for distribution. So right there you have decided already that it's going to be copied and have your copier working and you can keep up with it. Therefore, if you have decided to let your unregistered people come in, you would have plenty of handouts. The family ministry director will contact the presenters and request the handouts and be responsible for copying them. A person that is responsible for it. That's you, the director. Now, are you going to serve any snacks or any meal? This program will be following the regular church potluck. No money out, but you might want to have snacks and water bottles will be provided. Melvin Preston will purchase several cases of bottled water, and Liz Poole will solicit help in making brownies and cookies. Sounds like a great plan. Everybody has it. This is what you need to do to make sure that when you arrive at the event, that everything is in order. Technology needs. You've determined that you probably need a microphone and a projector and screen. Your PR person at the church or wherever you're having it, have some person, Eric Bates, the IT person, will be responsible for setting it up as needed. These are important things. Now you have tacked on a person's name and you know who to go to. It's not just out there, we will ask somebody, but now you actually have a person that's responsible for this. So your event presenters are Dr. Claudio and Pamela Consuegra. The family ministry director will touch bases with the speakers to confirm the appointment and the date of the event. Family ministry director is going to be the person that is going to get in touch with your speakers and make sure that you get their needs taken care of, and maybe you'll need more than a microphone and a projector and a screen. Check with your presenters. Make sure that your presenters are taken care of. Marketing methods to be used. You have done a lot of work, and this is to be commended, and you have all the details of how you're going to market it. You're going to put it in the church bulletin. You might want to say how many weeks that you're going to put it in. You're going to put a poster in the church foyer and in the places around the community. Very good. And you're going to post on church Facebook page. If you have a website or anything that you have other than your church website, be sure to post it there too. Announcement in the church email newsletter. Getting it out to other people. Maybe you want to make sure that all your other churches know this event is happening. Person or persons in charge. Carmen Griffin will write a blurb and submit to the church secretary, church website, and Facebook administrator for it to be on the Facebook website, your church's website. David Defoe will create a poster for the event, and he will also place the poster in places around the community as he is granted permission by the local businesses. Do not hang anything on a window in a local business without consulting the business owner. Get permission. You will be respected a lot more in your community if you have permission for doing all of these things. Ways the event will be evaluated. Again, make a survey. There are lots of them online. There's some in these books that I have suggested, your quick start guide, your manual, that you can look for. Print them or do an electronic survey. Send it to each participant. Ask them questions. And tell them about other activities that they may be interested in attending. You have got them now. They have come once. Get their information. This is the thing at registration. Get their information so you can keep in contact. This is how to grow your church through family ministries. An excellent way. Everyone will relate to family ministries in your church. This is church members, non-church members, and community. The person that's responsible for this will be the children's ministry director, because you will keep the data, you will keep it, and then you will share it with those that need to know. Follow-up activities. Review the results of the survey and plan events based on interest. This is where your committee will meet again and do follow-up activities. You will debrief, you will go over everything, you'll make sure that you have it where you need to. There was a lot of things on those lists, but I guarantee that we have forgotten something, and that you and your committee will come up with a better way to do it, or you will have be able to add more things. Do not think that anything we have given you here today is concrete and has to be done that way. You're the one that is in your church. You know the needs of your church, and you need to act according to what their needs are, what your pastor's requests are, what the board's requests are, and you will have a wonderful ministry for a long period of time if you include and bring everybody along on the journey. I have one more activity that I want you to do. So as we close this training program, we've already been through 6 modules, and we want you to pause and write one new thing that you learned from each of the 6 modules. One new thing that we have covered in the training, something you didn't know. This is where your paper and pencil will come in. So you might want to make sure you have plenty of paper, because you can add more than just one thing. What principle can you apply to your life? What principle in all these sessions can you use best in your life, in your ministry to families? How can you be a better leader? How can you be a better head of your family? What principle, whether it is building it on the rock through the parable that God gave us about the rock and the sand and building your house firmly, if it's that one, apply it to your ministry, apply it to your families. I want you to stop, and I want you to be able to do that. Do this, write down and give some thought to this. It may take you a little bit, but I'm not going anywhere. We will be here to pick it up when you're through. I hope that your house, your triangle, your pyramid looks like this. I would hope that it has all of these things in there. These are the 6 sessions. There's one that is building it on firm foundation, which was the overall thing at the bottom, the biblical foundation. Then we learned at that point that we needed trust and commitment, and we needed prayer to put everything into perspective. There was another session on sexuality. aging gracefully, relationship and marriage, and another one on parenting. What did you take away from this? What principles can you use in your ministry? Our goal is for you to be the best leader that you can be. And with God's help, you will be. And if you have any questions, we would love for you to contact us at the Florida Conference, Children and Family Ministries. I'm Judy Smith, the Director of Children and Family Ministries. You can reach me through our phone number here, or you can reach me by email, judy.smith@floridaconference.com. Let us hear from you. If nothing else, just to tell us what you're doing in your churches. May God bless.